His Excellency Ambassador Juan, distinguished delegates and colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I wish to express my appreciation to France for the invitation to contribute to this retreat. I was very pleased to hear of the convening of all the co-sponsors of the Cyber Program of Action initiative to discuss concrete options for moving the proposal forward. We are facing extraordinary challenges to the peace and security of cyberspace. The threat landscape is alarming. ICTs are being used to cause destruction and disruption. Cyber defenses are being mobilized. The risk of cyber-related escalation is rising. In moments like these, states must recognize the critical importance of our common norms, rules, and principles of responsible state behavior, and redouble efforts to ensure their effective implementation. In this connection, I wholeheartedly welcome states' consideration of action-oriented mechanisms for advancing implementation of the normative framework and for supporting state capacities to implement it. The Program of Action proposal fits squarely in this basket. Since it was first launched in 2020, the Program of Action proposal has garnered increasing interest and support. Both the first open-ended working group and the latest group of governmental experts recognize the value of this proposal and the need to further elaborate it. At the latest substantive session of the current open-ended working group in March 2022, a growing number of states from across regions expressed support for the proposal. Several delegations called for unpacking how a cyber program of action could serve as a standing platform to support capacity building and the implementation of the existing normative framework. There are many important functions that a program of action could fulfill. For example, such a platform could serve as a hub for national reporting, peer-to-peer reviews, matching needs with resources, and coordinating amongst national points of contact. It could also provide for meaningful stakeholder engagement, given the unique role of non-governmental entities in ICT security. The task now, as I see it, is to consider how to build out the framework both substantively and procedurally. There are many substantive questions to consider. What are the fundamental objectives of the framework? What form will the instrument take? Will it constitute a political declaration, a set of actions or commitments by states? How would such a framework address future elaboration of the normative framework and/or inclusion of new norms? How will the platform engage stakeholders? Likewise, there are procedural issues to address. For instance, through which type of process and mandate should the instrument be developed? Is there a regular frequency of follow-up meetings envisaged? Is an implementation support mechanism such as a secretariat required? Finally, there are practical budgetary questions that need to be considered related to funding for follow-up meetings, interpretation, documentation, and website management. Of course, it is the prerogative of states to consider the answers to these questions, and I trust this retreat will serve as a valuable opportunity to do so. My office stands ready to support states in the exploration of these issues and to provide guidance accordingly. Before concluding, I would like to highlight two principles that I believe must feature in a future program of action: complementarity and inclusivity. I note with appreciation that the co-sponsors of the proposal have committed to ensuring complementarity with other relevant processes, including the ongoing Open Network Working Group. I can only reiterate and underscore the necessity of avoiding duplication with other intergovernmental processes. In 2021, delegations universally welcomed the return to a single consensus resolution in the General Assembly on ICT security and looked forward to the start of a new process. In this spirit, I would encourage co-sponsors to carefully consider how the program of action can work in support of and add value to the Open Network Working Group. Secondly, I wish to highlight the principle of inclusivity and its significance for any successful multilateral initiative. For the program of action, the process by which it is consulted and agreed upon will be an important factor for its level of acceptance and, by extension, its implementation. I trust the co-sponsors are carefully considering how to ensure the full and active participation of all states. I thank you for your attention, and I wish you well in your deliberations.